So SSP students love the speech sound frog, who's very naughty. He goes round and he changes our spelling. He changes it from the correct spelling using the spelling clouds. He changes the code mapping. So we have to always be looking out for people who change the code mapping. It's very naughty, and the speech sound frog loves to do it. For example, if a child was to write the word, you know, I went to play with my granny, put or a play, put or a play. Yes, that is a picture for the A speech sound. Let's have a look. A, that is a representation, that is a picture for the A. Look, it's in there, A. But it's not the one we want to use when he went out to play. So he kept the right speech sound monster, but changed it to the wrong sound pick. So whilst they're doing their writing, they're constantly looking to see, what did the speech sound frog do, the naughty speech sound frog. So the naughty speech sound frog here changed the sound pick from AY to AI. So we're going to change it to the right one. And we can easily check which are the right spelling choices by using an IPA transcribe website. But here are all the spelling choices all the spelling choices of English for all the English speech sounds. So they're just monsters representing an English speech sound. So what also happens is that SSP teachers and SSP students get very good at having a look at resources that they see to see, what did the naughty speech sound frog do? So we just had a little look at one of these, and what we do in the SSP closed group is we are looking all the time at resources. We know the science of reading, etc. We know we need to be teaching phonics. We know what all the science tells us, but it's the application, because we're teachers. So the resources that are produced to help children learn phonics systematically and explicitly, we want to have a look at the application. We want to have a look at the actual resources. So that's what we're discussing in the closed group. We are being, if you like, naughty froggy phonics detectives. Okay, so for example, what I would do if I had a look through here, other than the fact that, of course, in this, they're not going to have the whole code like we do. You know, think about even or, the or sound. They might be the high frequency ones that the children might see, but they need to see all of them. So they're all there. Whereas in a chart like this, you're only going to get, you know, a small amount. This is actually more than a lot of commercial phonics programs, which is brilliant. And what I love about this one is that they've actually got recognise that the K sound in Queen is represented by the Q, and the W is represented by the U. Now, we used to, ages and ages ago, probably 6 years ago, we used to put this in the resources just because it's so common and because teachers wanted it in there, but we took it out because it's not true to the code. You've got to keep evolving, keep making sure your resources are true to the code, true to code mapping and the King's Code. So you can check the King's Code by using Macmillan, using any dictionary to check the phonetic symbols for the sounds and how we would translate speech sounds into print. So a speech to print approach, the Speech Sound King, there's a lovely story, but he's created the code mapping book called the dictionary, which has got all our words in, but we need to look at the code mapping of those words. So the children would look at something like this and they would use this as an opportunity to actually see what the speech sound frog, the naughty speech sound frog, did with the phonics. So for example, now even just things like here, that is not a high frequency word. So the children would actually say, yes, we have got an AI as a representation for A, but let's, instead of using that word, let's use a common word like plat. Now what have I put there? So that's my S cloud. I've put that there because I was probably having a look at the box. Oh yes, and I said here, rice, the CE in rice, this in rice is not the I, it's not the CE, is it? It's a split vowel digraph. So it's a split vowel digraph, so the I isn't on its own there. So if we're looking for an example of a word that's got the CE in as a representation, then you're better off to use something like fence. Fence. So it's clearly that is the, whereas here the CE isn't the representation, is it? Because there's a split vowel digraph. So they'll go through and just analyse, right, what would we want to change because of this naughty frog? So, for example, what else have we got? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. We've got, can you see some things that you'd like to change? There's missing, a lot of missing things, like N is a high frequency one for think about rink and what have you. It's surprising that there are the ones that are missed out. What's that there for? Oh, that's there because I think here it's supposed to be the ear here, but that would be confusing because somebody might say, well, that's the word tear, and there's a great discussion we could have out of that. So they might say, well, I want tear in there, and then they would say, well, why is the EAR not in the air? Because look, we've got tear there or bear there, what have you. So we would probably put, so what did we do on the E, the ear? Here's our ear monster. What did we do as the example for EAR in hours? EAR, we did clearance, because they're not going to pronounce that in any other way. So your resources need to be not only accurate, but also not open for interpretation. Not clearance, of course not. The EA is the ear. Clear, clearance. So the EAR, fear, that's the one. Oh, which remind me, there was something else in the F cloud. Where's the F cloud? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Oh, speech sound frog, you definitely went to town on that one. Look at this. Is that Arthur? Arthur? Or is it after or after, depending on how you say it? But that should be moved. Naughty speech sound frog. What else have we got? We've got, let's have a look. So like here, I think that might just be an oversight rather than a misunderstanding. So the frog naughtily there put an OC, ocean. Obviously the O is the O sound, and so ocean for the sh. So we would look, so look at all those choices for sh. So we would have a look at that. There's monster sh. What else have we got? And don't forget with the X, that's the funny one because that is sort of print to speech. So the X can represent x or gz or luxury or xylophone. So think about all those sounds. So even though we've got two sounds there, that phoneme, that grapheme there represents those two phonemes. Cube, why would I put that there? Let's have a look. What did the frog do? Cube. So here that's an oo, like fruit, hoop, glue, shoe, screw. That cube, that UE split vowel digraph there is actually the U. It's the U. So even though we go U, and really, how many sounds are there? But actually that's the smallest unit represented in phonics. That's the difference between, when you're just thinking about the speech sounds and when you've got it on paper. The U, like the letter name U, that is going to represent, that's going to be mapped with a grapheme. So we've actually got oo as a sound, and then we've obviously got U as a sound as well. Where have I got that? Let's have a look. So we've got U there, U. So even though that you might think of that as, how many sounds you want to think of that? A U, it's going to map, so that's the smallest representation. But in here, that needs to not be in that one because that is a U. Oh, they've got a U there, so they understand that. So they've got uniform U, U, so that needs to be over there, the split vowel digraph, and that's not in there, which is very strange because it's a very common one, U. But we've got uniform, U, so that shouldn't be in there. Tissue, few, eucalypt. Oh, okay. Beautiful. Oh, and of course that isn't a U, is it? Tissue, tissue. The double S is a representation for the sh. Is it in there? Nope. It in our cloud. Shh. Yes, it is. What's the example? Reassure. reassure. What else have we got? Oh yes, I was just having a look. That very common one, you know, it should be in there, definitely should be in there. But that's what the children will do. They will investigate, they'll go through and they'll think, you know, what needs to change? What did the speech sound frog do? The naughty speech sound frog, what did he do? We found actually quite a lot of other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head. I'm sure you don't want to be bored with every single one that needs to change here. This was a really funny one. Hold on, there was one with mirror that was most peculiar. I think it was in the ear. Here we go. I think what the speech sound frog did, he did a little bit tricky here. So he went ear, tear, dear, hear, peer. But mirror, that's an OR as the schwa at the end. Mirror. But I think what the speech sound frog did is that I know will go mirror, mirror. So that actually is a great discussion for the children about, yes, when people say sound it out, but which sounds? Is it how you say it? Or is it how the king says it? What's going to help you more with spelling? So anyway, so if you're using SSP, please do join the SSP group. And in there we will be naughty speech sound frog detectives. Naughty frog phonics, let's call that. So we can actually have a look at resources, because as I say, we're focused, we're teachers. So we're focused on the application of reading science, you know, theory, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people talking about what we should be teaching, but actually teachers want to know how to do it. So let's review resources in private, obviously, but we're going to review resources because that's also going to help me to teach a train, help teachers understand how to code map, how to most effectively get children to code map the phonemes to graphemes, because at a very simple level, that's what we're trying to do with phonics. Map the spoken sounds, the phonemes with graphemes. But the spelling clouds, I don't think there's a more comprehensive representation for all the children for every spelling choice. So of course you've got it on your Speech Sound Monster Bank, and you've got it on your tabletop mats and your spelling cloud keyrings, your monster cards. So it's a really good resources for exploring the code, to be honest, regardless of whatever phonics program you're using. But whatever phonics program you're using or resources you're using, look at it with the eye to being detectives and to checking what the speech sound frog, the naughty frog, did with your phonics.